Welcome to the University of Westminster Tourism and Events Department. This is a welcome to our open evening for the Tourism and Events postgraduate courses. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dr. James Morgan. I'm the postgraduate program leader for the MA in Event Design and Management, as well as the MA in Tourism Management. I am the principal lecturer in Event Design and Technology, and as you can see, my email is there if you'd like to note that down. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to connect with you via email. I'm also on LinkedIn. If you want to search for me, it's Dr. James Morgan. You can actually use the QR code that I've put in here to the presentation if you do want to link through LinkedIn. Just to give you a little bit of detail about myself, as well as being the program leader for tourism and events, I'm also the knowledge exchange and digital experience lead at the School of Architecture here at Westminster. I founded the Event Tech Lab in 2014, which is a non-profit knowledge exchange community for event technology companies, event professionals and investors, so working with a lot of technology companies around the world in the event space. I do a lot of judging of industry awards. I write for various magazines and do speaking at various events, all to do with engagement and technology. So that's me. What we're going to do is have a look at the agenda next. This is what I'll be discussing over the next 20 or so minutes, is the latest update for the teaching arrangements in the year 21 and into 22, some details on the courses of event design and management and tourism management, and then we'll look at careers, employability, and some further information. Before we start on the courses, I just want to do the timetable update. We are looking at government advice all the time on how we will teach over the next year. This is very important, obviously, to make sure that we keep you guys safe. The plan so far is that we will be teaching in person. And what we've done is we've planned 2 hours in person per module per week and 1 hour of digital delivery per module per week. This may change depending on various circumstances to do with the pandemic and the government guidance. But the update so far is that we will be back teaching in person in September. We will now look at the details of the two courses. Just to introduce you to our subject group, we are based in the School of Architecture, and this is very unique for tourism management and event design courses. Normally these types of courses sit in business schools or hospitality schools or leisure schools. We sit within the architecture school because we very much feel part of that creative type of industry, i.e. architecture, interior architecture, but we also have within the school, we have air transport and ground transport planning. We also have urban design, urban planning, policy planning as well. So the courses in a way are very much geared towards cities and placemaking and the architecture of the urban landscape and what happens, the activities within that landscape. We are based in central London, right opposite the famous Madame Tussauds. And for the tourism people, the course is validated by the Tourism Management Institute in the UK. And we very much part of the course, because we're in London and we have access to so many amazing people, not just physically in London, but around the world too, the academic team works a lot with industry. And I think that's really important, so that when you finish your degree, it's not just about theory and books, it's also about knowing what's happening in the industry too. So for tourism and events, we are members of various associations, and you can see a list here. And it's important for us to have this industry connection to make sure that we are keeping up to date with all the trends, all the research, as well as all the industry comments, opinions, and the main movers and shakers within the industry, to make sure that you guys get the best experience in terms of teaching, learning, and industry engagement. I'd like to introduce you now to our course team, and we have, first of all, Dima Ajit. Dima teaches in tourism and planning, and when we say planning, it's more about destination planning, which is part of the whole tourism equation. We have Ian Arnott, who is a lecturer in events and tourism. So Ian will be able to teach events and tourism subjects, and you may see him in quite a few of your modules. Next we have Dr. Stromer Cole, who's a senior lecturer in tourism and very much interested in research in terms of responsible tourism, diversity, inclusivity, and issues around social sustainability. Dr. Helen Farrell is our assistant head of school and also the head of our department, and she may be teaching you on a couple of modules over the next year in terms of her expertise to do with business as well as the environment and sustainability. Last on the slide is Dr. Anne Graham, our Professor of Air Transport and probably one of the world experts in airport management. And Anne will be teaching the airports module, and she is also the joint research lead for the Tourism and Events Department. Next up we have Lindsay Hanford, who comes from industry, very much trade show focused in terms of events, and Lindsay happens to be the course leader for the BA Tourism and Events course. We then have Claire Ingson, who is a senior lecturer in tourism, and she is also the postgraduate admissions tutor. Claire's written books on tourism marketing, tourism supply side, and very much her speciality is more from the professional practice and the tourism marketing and entrepreneurship point of view. Next we have Maya Jovic, and Maya specializes in tourism with planning and the architecture around urban tourism and planning. She teaches both in our department as well as in the architecture department. Last on the slide we have Chantel Laws, who's senior lecturer in events, and you will be meeting Chantel on the course. She is also the disability tutor for the whole of the School of Architecture, and Chantel was the one that actually started off the Masters in Event Design, so I'm very happy to be taking over from her and give her a break at some of the other jobs she's doing, but she will still be heavily involved in teaching on the course. On this slide we have Chiara Orefice, senior lecturer in events. Chiara is very interested in meeting design, conference design, and her research is all about that. We worked for the United Nations doing conferences and meetings and has a industry background. She's also our academic exchange coordinator for the undergraduate courses. Next we have Dr. Ilaria Paplapore. She is a reader in tourism and events, so she teaches on both sides. You may be asking yourself, what is a reader? A reader is somebody who's on the professorship pathway, and that's one rung down from our it denotes that Ilaria has done some amazing research and published lots of papers to get to that stage in her career. And she's also the course leader for the BA Tourism with Planning. Next up is me, and you've heard about me, so I'm going to skip that and move on to Dr. Andrew Smith, who is also a reader in tourism and events, and Andrew's definitely on that pathway to becoming a professor. He's been a reader for some years now, so we're wishing him all the luck for his professorship application. He's also our joint research lead for the department in tourism and events, and has another role as the architecture school's PhD coordinator too. You probably won't see much of Andrew because he's heavily involved in research, and most of his time is spent in the research world, but he does deliver some of the lectures some of the time. So that was the team. I'm going to start looking at the course overview and just look at the two sister courses of event design and tourism management. And we're really looking at these courses mostly in the context of the urban environment, but we also look at the rural context too. But we're really interested about how tourism and events animate spaces, how it makes places with both business and leisure tourism and events, and the different types of experiences and how they designed and how they impact society, the economy, and the environment. And so it's very important for us, because of the course overviews and what we're trying to achieve, is to engage with industry people all the time. So you will always be coming across industry experts, because as I said earlier, when you leave, it's not just about the theory. It's how do you adapt that theory, how it's being adapted in the current climate, and how tourism and events is in the real world, not just in a book. These are the two courses, and as you can see, we've got two different descriptions there, but what we're really looking at is we're looking at various combinations in terms of course outcomes. From the events point of view, we're looking at strategic, operational and design production perspectives. For the tourism, we're looking at strategic perspectives on the tourist, the destination, the industry, the impacts and the challenges. So they are very different courses, but they do have similarities and commonalities. And this is where the option modules come together, where we can look at both sides of the coin and see where those commonalities and similarities are. Here we see the structure for event design and management. Semester 1, you will be doing event strategy, event concept and design, and event planning and management. And these are the core modules for the event design and management postgraduate degree. Added in there, you will see research and communication skills. This is really about preparing you for your dissertation, but as well as preparing you for the wider world in terms of communication and the different skills you need to communicate in various ways and on various channels. In semester 2, you will see there are 3 options plus the dissertation. Option 1 and 2, I'll go through those in a minute. Option 3, you can either do one of our options, or you can pick a free choice elective module from other modules that are available in the university. Some students go off in semester 2 and do stuff in media or in the other departments in business, etc., in the different schools in the university. And then obviously the dissertation, which we complete in semester 3. Just a note here, semester 3 you don't need to attend the university, so this can all be done online. So if you're traveling to London and you don't want to stay for a whole year, you can stay just for 8 months, settle in September and leave at the end of April. And that works out quite well in terms of expenses. But if you are wanting to do part-time, that's slightly different. Here we see the breakdown of the part-time course completed over 2 years. And that would mean that you would do two of the core modules, event strategy and then concept and design, in semester 1, year 1. And in year 2, semester 1, you would be event planning and management and research and communication skills. And then again in year 1, semester 2, 2 option modules, and then in year 2, semester 2, 1 option module or elective and the dissertation. For tourism management, we have, for the full-time route, we have the 4 core modules in semester 1, and you can see the similarity with the research and communication skills, which all students have to do. But then the business of tourism, destination development and tourism marketing, so a mix of planning and business there, so that you're a fully rounded tourism management professional, and that is in semester 1. And then semester 2, you've got your options and the dissertation. For the part-time route, we have, again, very similar to the event management part-time route, 2 modules in semester 1, year 1, which are core modules, and then we have year 1, 2 option modules in semester 2. Then for year 2 in semester 1, we have the other 2 core modules, and then in semester 2 we have 1 option module or elective choice and dissertation. I'm going to go through some of the core modules so you can see what they are all about. First up is event strategy. So this is really about what is the strategy about an event? Why am I running this event? Whether it's a company, the government, or a local council, or borough council, or city, or the third sector, i.e. the voluntary sector, some kind of charity. These are all these decisions about holding events, where they're going to hold them, who are the stakeholders, and how is that event going to be successful. And this is really a complex environment in order to discuss all this, but you need to learn all this about what is the strategy behind the event, why am I doing the event, what's going to happen if I do this event, what's going to be the impact of this event. We then look at event concept and design, and this is theory about creating experiences, creating memories. How do we put an event together? How do we actually design the event? What elements of design are we going to use within that event? So we really want you to understand that delivery process in terms of design. And then we have the event planning and management. And this is very much, once we've decided on the design, how are we going to deliver that in terms of logistics? How are we going to deliver that in terms of project management, ROI, volunteering, budgeting, finance, pricing, health and safety? So all those issues that are related to event management and event design are discussed in this in terms of the delivery phase. The next area we'll be talking about is the tourism management core modules. The first one I'm going to talk about is the business of tourism. So understanding the principles of tourism as a business, the demand side, the supply side, who does what, where they do it, what all the influencing factors, what are the impacts, how does the tourism industry depend on a city or on the countryside, how does it all work in terms of the operation of the tourism sector and integration with transports, hotels, attractions and other aspects of tourism. Destination development is very much looking at a destination itself and how that destination is planned, the impacts of tourism on the local population, how are the management structures formed, and this is done on a case study basis where students will be assessing various destination responses around the world and in the UK. Next is tourism marketing and entrepreneurship, and giving you a grounding in the principles of marketing, particularly in terms of tourism businesses as well as destinations, how the marketing mix, as it's called, can be used to promote destinations, to promote tourism businesses, i.e. an attraction, or even an event, because tourism people do events as well. And that's where we have the synergy between the two courses. Also discussed is things like new product development and how we manage the financial side of tourism businesses and the marketing budget. I want to talk now about option modules, but before I look at each module, I just want to make an observation here that not all modules listed as options may run in any given year. And this will depend on numbers who are signing up to the module and also the availability of the tutors who run those particular modules. Somebody might be on maternity leave, for example. But if you have any questions for 21-22 start, please ask my colleagues who are in the virtual booth any questions you may have about option modules or anything else. Let's look at the option modules that you can choose from. We have 6 altogether. The airline and airport management. This is run by Professor Anne Graham, and her expertise will cover the airline industry, how that is run, the different areas of the airline industry, and then looking at airport management and all the issues around running and managing airports. The next module that is available as an option is called Creating Experiencescapes. This is run by Chantel Laws, and what we do in this module is we look at both tourism and event experiences and how these unfold from the attendee point of view, how we design that unfolding process so that people have these great memories and experiences, and very much a more design and practical focused module. The next module, Delivering the Event Experience, run by Chiara Afice, is for the event design students only, and this is a module where you actually design and deliver a live event. Obviously, this last year that had to be done online, but hopefully in semester 2, which will be January, February, March 2022, you should be able to deliver live events for this module. The next module I'm going to talk about is Global Festivals and Events, and a popular choice with both tourism management and events management people, because this is all about using these large global festivals to create better outcomes for cities and society, and how these big events are actually globally spun across the media in all sorts of countries. So, for example, the Rio Carnival, the Olympics, a brand like Comic-Con that runs events all around the world in different cities. So these global festivals and events are items or events that can attract people from different places around the world too. The next one I want to talk about is professional practice, and this is very much a project-based module where we teach the students about consultancy skills, and then they do an actual live case study with an industry partner in terms of a consultancy project. So very much a hands-on, again, practical. And as you can see, the little stars there for professional practice and delivering the event experience. These are very, very practical modules. The last one we see there is Responsible Management of Tourism and Events, and this is run by Dr. Stroh McColl, who's very much into the ideas of diversity, inclusion, and all the issues around that, and how do we responsibly manage tourism attractions, destinations, and events taking place? How do we consider the local economy, the host society, and the environment at the same time? The option modules are the same as the core modules, and they all run in 3-hour blocks. And as I said to you earlier, we're more than likely, and this is the plan right now, is to do 2 hours live and 1 hour before or after in terms of digital delivery, and that will normally be the lecture. In terms of the free choice elective, what I would say that is you can not do one of our option modules in semester 2, and you can pick what we call a free choice elective, and these are run by other master's courses in the university. Obviously they have to accept you onto those modules. You can pick it, and then they would then say yes or no, you can do it. Some of these modules have prerequisites, i.e. you have to have some background knowledge within that particular module area. I want to just cover the different types of assessments that we do in the course. We have both traditional as well as digital type assessments. So for example, academic essays, business reports, which are kind of more traditional assessment types. But then we also have elevator pitches, digital stories where you make a video, live assessment. Those kinds of things are what we want you to do, so you have a mix of the traditional academic with what's happening in the real world. And there are 2 assessment points for most of the modules that we have. In regards to the dissertation, which is quite a large piece of work, it's about 12,000 words, give or take 10%. We have had some amazing projects over the years, and we very much are looking forward to more of these projects in your year. This is the poster presentation which precedes the actual handing of the major piece of work, the dissertation itself. So what you get to do, and for as well as your supervisor on your dissertation, you get to visualize what your idea is, and then you carry that through into the piece of work that's handed in. Some other activities, residential trips. So we will be going away at the nearer the end of semester 1. My plan is to go back to Bath because it's a popular destination for tourists as well as events. And the students have been there the last few years, so we have some good connections there, and create a great residential trip experience for you. We also have opportunities for professional development, attending industry lecture series that we organise, and that happens in semester 1, the event design and technology lecture series. This is something that we do every year. Industry people come in and speak, industry people come in and attend, so it's a great networking opportunity for students. The other thing that you see here is where the students launched a digital internship to help event organisers during the pandemic. So we're always thinking of ways to get students involved with industry, to get experience, to get exposure, to start networking and making contacts as well. This is a small video of an event that we did in the last 6 months. It was a tribute to one of the writers of a textbook that is like the Bible of event creation. And just to show how we engage with industry, I asked a company who has created this Gamescape as an event venue, and to bring people into it to sponsor the event, and they were very happy to do it. So in the end we ended up with this great engaging platform, as well as experts around the world beaming in to say cheers to Julia Rutherford Silvers. about graduation, you're wondering that. So you pass your course and you want to graduate. As I said earlier about the amount of time you spend in London, you can come stay in London all the way through until graduation in November. We didn't have a graduation in 2020, it was done online, but we are hoping to go back live in 2022 when it's your year, and we were at the Royal Festival Hall in 2019. More than likely we'll be back there again, I hope. It's a great venue for graduation. But look at those smiling faces, all master's students having passed their tourism management or their event design postgraduate degrees. And there's some really amazing students that have attended Westminster over the years where they've won prizes, they've published in various journals, they've actually been in the news and things like that. So there are opportunities that the university puts forward for these various competitions, or to publish, or to enter certain prize draws, to actually advance their careers and have something added to their CV. On careers employability, I think it's really important that the university has some kind of outreach to industry on behalf of the students to introduce them to industry people, as well as opportunities throughout their studies over the year and going forward. So you can see here from the events point of view, we have seen people, these are the different job roles: events manager, conference manager, corporate event manager in-house, board directors, some other jobs working for Jack Morton Worldwide, which is a big global experiential agency, Reed Exhibitions, a big global exhibition company, and other exciting jobs like event technologists, getting into the whole idea of the event technology side. There's so many different types of technologies that we have these days. And some other jobs in the event industry, including becoming a freelancer. In terms of tourism management graduates, we've seen people going to what we call destination marketing organizations, convention and visitor bureaus, hotel companies, airlines, tour operators, you name it, they are working in those industries. And lastly, the other thing is that you could go on to do a PhD. You might decide that you love academia, you've got a high mark for your degree, and you could even be offered a studentship at Westminster or another university, like a grant, in order to continue your studies. But there are other things that you can do as well. You can enter a consultancy company to become an events or tourism consultant. We've had students become travel bloggers, and obviously university lecturers like myself did my PhD here, and here I am teaching. So if you would like further information about anything, you can email me, morganj@westminster.ac.uk, or you can speak to one of my colleagues who is in the booth this evening. Lastly, I'd just like to look at the entry requirements and the next steps that you can take. So first of all, you would need a lower second class honours degree from a university, or the equivalent of that if you're coming from a degree course from outside the UK. There are places allowed for people who have some kind of industry qualification or practice that don't have that formal qualification, and where they might have been working in the tourism or events area, and that would be up to me or the admissions tutor Claire Ingson to decide. In terms of English, you need to have your IELTS 6.0 at least, or 5 within each element. You can get more details about that from my colleague that is going to be in the booth. You must be able to provide an academic reference when you apply. This may be different for people that have had considerable work experience. Obviously, you've got to have passion for the subject and the ability to commit to intense study, and that is really important for the full-timers and the part-timers who are working, because the coursework has to be handed in on time, and it's no good coming to the university and then having to redo more modules or redo a whole year to pass your degree. Thanks for listening. I'd just like to direct you back to the lobby. If you want to have a chat live to one of my colleagues who is in the booth, look for tourism and events down at the bottom of the menu. Click on that and start a live chat. I'd also like to direct you to student support services if you have any questions about finance, careers employability, the admissions process, including visas. Go back again to the main menu and look for the links to those services. Thanks for listening.